To Electripreneur Secrets, the Electrician podcast. I'm your host, Clay Newmeyer. With me, as always, my esteemed co-host, the sales bot, Joseph Lucani. Joseph, why do we call you that?
Honestly, it's one of those nicknames that stuck with me forever. So because I'm on the spectrum, I can sometimes present as robotic at times. And it's been something that's happened my entire life. And I was called a robot when I was younger. And remember what trade, what job, what career, it was always your robot. But when I found out that I had sales ability and finally it like clicked and I was able to get the process dialed down, all my coworkers called me sales bot. And then when I was running my own company, my employees would call me sales bot. And it just started to stick. It was like, oh, he's just going to sales mode. That's what he's doing.
And it's very natural because honestly, I didn't know that. But when it came to, we're like, hey, nickname, sales bot came so naturally. And you were laughing, right?
Yeah.
Because
I was laughing because
been there.
It's there. It's like, you're like, how about sales bot? I'm like, yeah, go figure, right? It's the same name I've gotten. But yeah, I love it. It's become a thing, almost like a little endearment at this point. You know what? If I can't own my roboticness every now and then, am I really even being me?
Yeah.
So
yeah, fair enough.
I'm going to be the sales bot.
Fair enough. Well, as always, you guys are in the right place because we're here to help you master sales, simplify pricing, and deliver premium level service. And today we have a topic that's going to help you with just that. And if you get this right, the how and why, we need to stop ballparking our estimates, our pricing, whether that's over the phone or at any point before you're ready to present a price. And we're really excited to share this with you because it's going to help you get some of those revenue numbers up. It's going to help you connect with your buyers in a better way, right? So really hitting a couple categories here. Joseph, so excited to talk about this with you. Let's talk a bit about the pain points around this. So we see it coming up on the phone even quite often, or worse, a text or an email.
That's the first spot that things are going to come up. And in all honesty, it's the first hurdle that a lot of us have to overcome. And we're going to walk through it in step by step. So the first thing is, if someone answers the phone, you say, hi, it's a great day at service with electrical. How can I help you today? And someone stops with, yeah, how much does it cost to change about 2 GFIs? I've got 2 outlets on my countertop that aren't working. How much does it cost to change them? What kind of impression have you already established with this kind of client? What do you think they're looking for?
The race to the bottom. They're looking for cheap, affordable, but
they didn't say that, but that's what we believe, right? I mean, you say it, I say it, we're both there. Our first thoughts as electricians are, these assholes are trying to get me to lower my number. They just want the number and they don't care what it is.
Price shop, even compare with others, right?
Yeah. I mean, we didn't even get their name. We don't know where they are. We don't know anything about these people. But so many of us are so assumed and so accustomed to saying the customer is always right. Give the customer what they want. So you come back with them with a rate. You say, oh, well, it's anywhere between 150 and 300. Okay, thanks. Click. Great. That was well invested time, right?
Yeah. And where did that lead go now?
It either went to someone else or you paid for something to get somewhere else.
It's really important. Really important sentiment I just want to inject right there is that we want people to feel the element of control while maintaining control ourselves. And that is something that we can't control. If we give them what they want at this point, nobody wins. Am I right in saying that?
100%. Because in the customer's mind, they may believe that the price is required, right? They may think that, okay, I get the price and I have the solution. So many clients assume that price correlates to quality and reliability and safety and security and all those other great things that we offer. So they may go, oh, well, okay, well, this person was 150 to 300. This person was 100 to 200. But that guy, my neighbor across the street, the one that was referred to, he said he can do it for 65. I'm going to call him. But that means that their level of experience is going to be staying at that level. They're not able to experience anything better. And realistically, that guy may show up and be like, oh, I thought you were going to buy everything. Wasn't communicated, right?
And by the way, that to me is like 3 strikes. A, the homeowner knows no better, has not been educated at all, or at least we can assume for that bottom of the bucket pricing. B, there's a contractor out there charging pricing and they don't even realize, they don't recognize, but we can assume at this point, they've got no level of business understanding or sustainability. And knowing that 80% are going to fail in the first 3 years, right? We can pretty much count them out. So now there's an exchange where a misled homeowner is paying below market pricing to a contractor that's not going to thrive, let alone survive. So that money basically gets squandered. And three, you and your reputable business as a premium service provider are SOL again because someone undercut you who isn't going to make the cut anyway. And perhaps this homeowner is actually going to call you back one day with more problems than solutions.
Now, with that being said, there are 3 questions that you can ask that is drastically going to reduce the chance of your customer saying thank you and hanging up. Just so you guys are aware, we're also going to touch on what to say when they've already gotten through these questions. So don't worry, we're going to get through it together. But may I just fire off with them?
Yeah, you know what? I just want to touch base and let you guys know that what we're speaking from today is literally a part of our value piece that we call the front door. We're able to actually give that to you. If you're a member of our Facebook group, all you need to comment on our post currently with our VIP crew of engagers there is front door on the post, and we'll send that out to you as well. Please, let's jump right in.
Awesome. So there's 3 questions that you're going to want to ask. And this, if you guys don't have it currently in your phone scripts or your phone processes, needs to be established, right? So the first thing you're going to start with is, it's a great day at Service Soup Electrical. This is Joe. How can I brighten your day? You want to establish as the first thing who you are, who they've called, and that your goal is to make their life happier. You can say it anyway. Go ahead, Clay.
Yeah, I just want to touch on this because we've heard it at times where the self-objections present and people say, well, I don't want to say brighter day, or they say, well, that's too friendly, it's cheesy. What would you say to people that think that that's just cheese and it's not required?
I've seen and heard and used a lot of cheesy lines in my career. And I can tell you this one isn't cheese because there's a lot of weight behind it. I can even break down this one sentence and I can touch on the individual wording of why I said what I said. It's a great day at Service Soup Electrical. What that establishes right then and there is, I'm happy in what I'm doing. It's a great day right here, right now with us. Would you want to remove that word? You might. You could say good. You could say I'm here. It's a day. Happy Monday. But if you say it's a great day to be here and you put some enunciation behind it, that communicates you're happy with your job. And people always want to work with someone that they know is happy doing their thing. The next is, after you said the company name, you say your name. The reason why that's so important is, how many times have we been on the phone and 2 seconds later forget who we're even talking to, or we weren't even introduced? How often does that happen? You cannot create a 2-way relationship with only one name. You just become a faceless corporation. And every one of us is cool lying to a faceless corporation. So don't be that person. So it's a great day it's a great day where I am. This is who I am. How can I make your day better? How can I improve the quality of your day? How can I enhance the quality of your life? 3 things in one sentence.
Love it. So thoughtful. And maybe this goes back to our first question of the day, which is, why do they call you the sales bot? You really have this nailed down, but it also addresses something that we've talked about before, which is setting the stage. Likely, if this is a demand call, you've got someone who's perhaps frantic. They've encountered something unexpected, and they're looking for timely solutions. They're likely to not be polite or feel that great energy that you're trying to convey. And that's so critical at every step of the way, that when they interact with you, that your energy meets theirs and wins.
And that actually lines up with the exact reason why the second sentence is so formulated the way it is. Because we account for those who are also going to already be negative. If you've got water coming up in your basement because your sub pump tripped because the GFI didn't work, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be happy with this. So you're going to be pissed. But I can't let your negative mood affect my positivity. Because if it does, now I also communicate that that's how I'm going to act when I'm on your job. Because if your negativity, one sentence, now turns me negative, what's going to happen when I'm wading through whatever you've got in your basement to reach the GFI. I want to be the kind of person that you're going to say, you know what? I can't phase this dude. He's happy. So the second statement is the customers are going to come to you and say, after you've made your first, they're going to say, I need my sump pump. Take a look at. What does it cost you to come out and do that? I'd be happy to help with that. I'd love to help you with that. But before we get to that, who do I have the pleasure of speaking to? Why do you think that statement is so important?
Right away, it's going to pivot and go back to the two-person conversation and begin to establish a relationship, right? Who am I as a stranger to say a price about anything, really?
Correct.
If anything, you're doing them a disservice at this point to say anything at all that indicates price.
And we're going to touch on that. You're completely right. In addition, when someone comes to you negatively and says, I need a price on this, I'm happy to help you with that. You're saying, I'm going to do that for you without saying, I'm going to do that for you. When someone expects that you're going to give them something, they stop asking for that something. It's already assumed that they're going to get it. So I'd be happy to help you with that. That's the same way that we're going to be handling email it over objections. I'm happy to help with that. Which of these choices do you like? So this statement is going to come up a lot. But before we get to that, the word but is very important as well.
Yeah, that's a whole
but,
episode, I think.
the word but is a negating statement. So I'm happy to help with that. But before we get to that, who do I have the pleasure of speaking with? Anytime you're in a relationship and you realize you've been talking to someone without giving your name, it's not great. You're like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to give you my name. The amount of apologies I've gotten on the second line, it's amazing. Because now the customer's starting to treat you like a person again. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry. My name is Joe. Real pleasure to meet you, Joe. Hope you're having a great day so far. Now, the last question you're going to ask is, well, on the chance we get disconnected, is this the best number to reach you at? And if you have like phone tracking software, just confirming it. Is it 845-216-5555? Yes, great. Now, you've gotten 3 very important questions answered. Why do you think it's so important we needed all 3?
Fill me in, man. Fill us all in.
No worries. All right. The reason why it's so important is what the customer has done subconsciously is given away the keys to their castle. And I can explain that in a way that may make a little more sense. Very rarely, if you're just trying to call to get prices and you're not emotionally invested whatsoever in this particular company, like let's say, sake of argument, I'm just going to blanket the local contractors in my area to get a price on X. Are you likely giving away your number and your address and all that other information? Probably not. It's probably going to be like, how much does this cost? All right, thanks. I'll get back to you. How much does this cost? Okay, I'll get back to you. Just keep calling, write numbers down. But when I can take you out of the logic and start addressing more of the emotion that's attached to it, start treating you more like a person and less of a commodity, we can create a relationship where there could be none formed prior to this. Once someone is willing to give you their name, their phone number, and where they live, it's very unlikely that they're not going to want, at the very least, book a tentative appointment. And if nothing else, you now have the means of contacting them for future services. So if you have their name, number, and address, and then they say, all right, we'll talk to you later, and they hang up, you could follow back up to that person a week from now and say, hey, I know you reached out to us last week talking about your GFI for your sub pump. I just want to make sure that you were serviced in the way that you needed. Oh, you weren't. Well, I'd love to offer you a complimentary inspection to make sure you got your needs taken care of. When could be the best time we could send a tech out? And now just this is a lead capture. Sound good so far?
Very important, right? We got to capture that. Not to mention, I mean, the immediate consequences of being disconnected, which happens at times. Mm-hmm. We need to know how to reach back out to this person and feel invited to do so.
You're right. So the number, that's obviously for the number, but there are some people that are actually, I've gotten calls where they weren't even in my state. And I didn't realize that until I got through the whole process, tried getting them on the calendar, and they said a street address. I had no idea what we were talking about. And I realized I was talking to someone from Connecticut, or I was talking to someone from New Jersey. They're like, yeah, but you're only 10 minutes, 15 minutes from the border. License doesn't transfer like that. Sorry, the borders are the borders. So it allows you the place to say, I know who I'm talking to. You were a real person enough that you were willing to give me your name. That's probably not fake. If you give me your number, that's the second middle ground. But now that I can confirm that I am able to service your area, now I have your full address.
Love it. Absolutely.
Oh.
Now, another way that that address serves you guys, of course, you got to get there, but in just your data, in your CRM, in that lead capture, is also understanding where most of your leads are coming from, which at some point becomes a superpower as well. Really, when we're getting to the nitty gritty of decreasing cost of goods sold, increasing profitability, it all becomes a superpower. Let me ask you this. Let's throw a quick wrench into this.
Sure.
It comes in text or email.
Okay.
Just to help the audience, how do we get this to a phone call? Because we know it's necessary to get to a phone call, guys.
There has been a pretty strong divide on whether texting is the right way. Now, almost all of us will agree that email is not the way you want to do business. But there are some of us who believe that text is different. So I'm going to talk about email first, and then we're going to talk about texting, just because that's a little more of a gray area. Is that cool?
Let's do it. Yep.
All right. Email is a dinosaur. It is the thing that we all use as a tool for our businesses, but that we don't really do out of a place of enjoyment, right? So very rarely is a regular homeowner that's not glued to their phone checking their email on a consistent basis. So they may have an email that they sent to you, but that email is also easily sent if they BCC to every other contractor in your area. So instead of ever replying with a price or any kind of schedule or anything available, you can always start with, "Thank you, Clay. It's an absolute pleasure to meet you, and I'm so glad you reached out. Here at Serviceable Electrical, we believe in taking pride in everything we do. And the first step to that is establishing a one-on-one conversation. So when would be the best time that we can talk to you? We can either communicate by text or we communicate by phone. Which would be the best time for us to do that?" You could just reply and leave it there. "I'm willing to help you, and I'd love to help you, and it is a pleasure to help you. But in order to serve you at the highest level, we need to have a two-way conversation. When would be the best time we can do that?" That already communicates the level of service you're going to be doing. Because if someone opens that email, that pretty much says they got to move forward with something. Not that they have to move forward with buying something, but they now have to invest something into a relationship in order to work with you. And if you can get every one of your customers to emotionally invest in your service, you will find that they'll often reveal the emotional reason why they needed you in the first place. And that almost always leads to a win. Make sense?
Does. Yep. Perfect.
Awesome. Second is text message. Text message is a little bit different because there are some people that prefer using text over using phone or using email is non-negotiable. We won't do that. But texting, I will allow to an extent. So what would end up happening is you would say the same thing. Someone sends you a text, "Hey, I need to get a price on this service." Well, I'd be more than happy to help you with that. Before we do so, who do I have the pleasure of talking to? You immediately go back to the first name, get them to engage via text. After you've gotten them engaged in the first name, be like, "Well, thank you, Clay. It's an absolute pleasure to meet you, and I would absolutely love to help you with this. Here at Serviceable Electrical, we believe in always offering the best level of service, but it allows us to understand a little bit more of your going through if we can talk on the phone. Is there a time that would be best for us to reach and connect over this?" If they say yes, great, book the call and get on it. And now you've gotten it back into the funnel. If they say, "No, we prefer to text," not a problem. I'm still happy to help. Tell me a little bit more about what's going on. Or you can say, on the chance we get to, you can't say I'm disconnected because I already physically have the number, but you could say, "Okay, well, hey, I want to make sure I service your area. Do you mind telling me the address of where you're going to be at to make sure you're in our covered zone?"
And for this point, this is where I want to jump in because the tendency is to shortcut here. But I want to stay strong on this. You are in your best level of service, and you're best served. Your interests are best served by getting on a phone call with this person. Whether we believe it's easier on text or not, I can see how it's easier on text because it's the path of least resistance. It's more timed with you, especially if you're wearing multiple hats or you're still in the field. It's easier for you to text, of course. But here's the downside. We know for a fact that 70% of communication isn't the words we use. It's the body language and the tonality. And so have you ever written an email that you've gone back and deleted and then just felt better entirely after?
Oh my God, yeah. No,
Have you ever received an email from someone that they followed up, called you and apologized and went, I hope that read right. It just didn't quite sit
yep,
right with me.
yep, that's happened as well.
This happens so often because people, as I was always taught in the field, how you write text, you basically put the worst attitude behind it and read it again. And that's how people will take it.
100%.
It's just an unwritten rule of text. And it's very important that you know that about your communications, but also theirs, because text tends to require an effort. And that effort's your hands, and you're already busy. And because it's a multitask, it causes people to be shorter than they usually would.
Mm-hmm.
It's also why many times with our clients and people in our circles, we're grabbing that mic button and speaking a message so you can hear the intention behind our voice.
Correct. Because people do not care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Exactly. So I just wanted to interject and throw that in there just to make sure. If we're then going to leverage what Joseph's going to finish off with the text process and just say, well, no, he said it's this and that, so I don't even offer the call. That's not what happened here today.
Mhm. We're
Not at all.
timing that out.
Yeah.
That's not what we're talking about. I'm simply saying that some companies allow text as an allowable form of communication. And if that is something that you truly believe is a level that you're going to offer, I'm not here to flip the boat and say you can't. But you should always give them the option of whether you're going to be able to talk to them directly or not. First, get the name. After you've gotten the name, then allow them to say, this is the best way for us to serve you at the highest level is for us to talk one-on-one so we can understand a little bit more of what you're talking about. Would you like to schedule a time for that? Or would you rather be on the text? If they choose text, that's okay. But if you can get them on the phone, you'll be that much better.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
I have a fun one, but go ahead, continue.
Yeah, no. I was going to ask you to continue. Go after it. Let's do it.
Awesome. What I was going to say is, I'm sure some of you out there are listening and saying, well, what do we do when they just say, well, can't you just give me a ballpark? Right? For anyone in the group, anyone listening to the live, can you throw a hand up if you've ever had someone say, can't you just give me a ballpark? Literally dagger to the heart every time I hear it. But I can give you the answer. You guys ready for it?
Let's do it.
All right. You can ask it another way. You ask the question another way. So when someone says, well, can't you just give me a ballpark? Like, okay, let me figure this out. So when you ask for a ballpark, are you looking for a high number or a low number? What do you think someone's going to say?
A low number.
Probably, right? Okay. So just to establish, in order to give you a low number without understanding anything that's going on in your home or how it relates to you and your family's needs, I'm going to give you the lowest number I can think of to get my foot in the door. But just so you're aware, if things are more involved, I'm going to have to raise that number. Are you okay with that? People don't like when a number is going to get raised, right?
I've just been disarmed.
Yeah, because that's really what's going to happen. I'm telling you, I'm just asking, like, do you want a low number or a high number? Just that question alone often isn't going to be able to get a subconscious response. So whether they say a low or a high, you're always going to give them both descriptions. So they just said, I want a low number. Like, okay, so I have to give you a low number to cover myself, and I'll probably have to raise it when I get there. On the other side of the coin, I could give you a high number where I know it's probably not going to exceed, but it's probably going to be so high, I'm going to scare you away. You're not even going to want to book with me. But I guarantee it's not going to be higher than this. They're not going to like that either, because they're going to say, what does it cost to change a GFI? It could be anywhere from $50 to $4,000. Like, I don't know. It's not a fair number.
How about a fair number?
So that's actually what we're going to focus on. So we start with the low, then we start with the high. And you say, here at Serviceable Electrical, we believe in giving you the right number. Where what we do is we go to your home, we design a range of choices from the finest one you can possibly buy to the most bare bones that you could possibly do. You'll have complete control over the prices. And at the end of the day, there's no gun to your head. You don't have to choose anything that you don't feel is going to serve you at the highest level. So between me just giving you a low number to get my foot in the door and raise it, give you a high number to cover my butt, wouldn't you rather a number that's accurate and relevant to what you're actually experiencing?
Yep. It's
so
a no-brainer.
The best time I can come out to your home.
Love it.
That's literally how it works. It's not sales lines. It's not tricks. It's just fair and honest communication with what's really going on.
And the reality is, guys, whether you're just listening for the first time or you've heard us before, we're always going to take this stance. Okay. When you should be presenting the number is after you've built that relationship. You're in their home, you're with them, and you're really at the kitchen table or the place of this fault where ultimately you're side to side, you're in partnership now, looking at the problem and the solutions together. I really want to highlight this because, again, this isn't salesy. We don't even show prices. We help them choose before price is even in the equation at all. So they're picking based on what their needs are and what their desires are and the things that will improve their quality of life. Do you have anything to speak to on that quick on this one, Joseph?
I mean, I feel like you hit it really tight, but once again, the only way that I don't want to describe it further is sales. I'm going to say it again. I'll say it always. Sales is not something you're doing to someone. This isn't a weapon that you're using on someone. This is a gift that you're performing for someone. If you can get face to face with someone, figure out what's really upsetting them on an emotional level and solve that, not only will you come back with a higher ticket, but you'll also come back with a customer who genuinely is happier for you being there. And this is just a path to serve them at that level.
I feel like I just came up with a new slogan for it. Sales is a team sport.
Ooh, okay.
Not bad. Not bad.
I can dig it. Live off the top of your head on
right off the top. Improv. Sales is a team sport, guys. Spread it. Let's see if it sticks. Not meaning, hey, two of us, bring your partner, bring more staff, meaning becoming teammates with the person you're trying to serve. That's how I see that. All right. Anything else to add for the topic today, or should we jump right into actions now?
Honestly, if we were going to add anything more to this, I'd say it could be another podcast, because I'm just looking at like the process in my head and there's just so much I want to dig into. So let's just go to actions for now. We could always cover it later. All
right. So right off the bat, guys, we already introduced it once during this podcast episode. If you're not a part of our Facebook community, Electripreneur Secrets, the Electrician Podcast community, jump on Facebook and enjoy engaging with us live there as Ryan Jones and Justin Robbins and Brian Peasy, right? Easy Peasy Electric. I hope I said that right, Brian. As many of our fans and friends join us there. And right there is where you can actually comment on this post and say the front door. And we're going to send you this whole script. And that would be a big action that's going to help you, because it's not that much. It's really simple script, but it's going to help you with a few things, including what we talked about today. And that action would be to take that, get that front door and start role playing it and start using it, and get away from ever presenting or offering any ballparks or any pricing ahead of being on the same team, because sales, as you know now, is a team sport.
Amen. I love that. That slogan's sticking.
All right. Anything to add to that for an all-star action, Joseph?
Definitely for an all-star action.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. So I'm just going to ask a random question. If Warren Buffett were to give you his financial budget script and you say, hey, this is a process that he took to get to billions of dollars, would you look at it and say, this is cheesy, I'm not going to take it, I'm going to alter this thing, I'm going to change a couple of things? Probably not, right? You'd be like, the guy is obviously proven he's done the things the right way. Even if it is cheesy, I'm going to do it. I don't care if I have to wear a costume. I'm doing it. It's going to get done. I'm going to say, for everyone that reads this script, everyone who clicks front door and is willing to put their hand up to take their business to the next level, I want you to do it the way it says to do it. Because the amount of intention in every single word of this thing I put in every word has a particular meaning. Like every single thing I'm going to say to you in here is said there for a particular purpose. So if you change even one word, it changes how it's going to demonstrate it. So my all-star action is this: not only put your hand up, but run the play as it stands. Run it 10 times. And if you don't get something from it, then call me. Don't look at it and read it and say, you know what? I'm going to change it to it's a decent day. Or I'm not going to say, how can I brighten your day? I'm just going to say, how can I help you? You could work. Not saying it won't. But there are specific reasons why I have each one in here. And if you want to be an all-star too, you're going to do it like an all-star.
I love it. Great advice. And as we keep saying, guys, action, consistent activity, that is the real barrier to success. Putting your hand up and getting this isn't the activity. That's just the first step to it. Actually using it is. And as we've said before, don't tell us it doesn't work. Show us. Then the fire's under our ass to help you make the most of this thing. I can't wait to see you guys again tomorrow. It's been an awesome episode. If you got some great value here today, please let us know in the Facebook group. I'm Clay Newmeyer. This is Joseph Lucani. We are here to help you master sales, simplify your pricing, and deliver premium level service. See you next time.